We might be seeing the return of the DK with the patch that just came out today, 11.1.5, with the tunings of being that Frost ended up getting an overall buff of 4% of their damage. Now, Unholy and Frost both weren't performing very well in single target or the raid in general, so this 4% buff will kind of, I think, put it a little bit in front of Unholy. I think Unholy is probably still going to take the cake in M+, thanks to Blood is Life. However, this is a really good alternative if you kind of are missing that Frost gameplay or kind of want to do more damage in raid. I would say test it out. A lot of the gear is going to be similar. Frost, you want to prioritize crit, haste, and mastery. With the Rider build specifically, you kind of want even parts mastery and haste. With obviously some crit. So if your Unholy gear kind of already has a good amount of crit or something like that, or if your DK is like mine and you haven't really been playing it much this season yet and still kind of in that old season gear or the stat prios aren't wonderful, maybe try out this build. These are kind of the talents. Pretty standard Shattering Blades build, similar to last season. Biggest difference is we are taking Rider, which is a lot of fun. You get a lot of mobility. You still have the benefits of your Death and Decay, or sorry, not your Death and Decay, your Death's Advance, which, you know, negates knockbacks, pushes, doesn't slow you, stuff like that. So the big difference with that is obviously when you use your movement ability, you kind of get this horse, you're fast. You're really fast. It allows for great movement. You can still attack while you're on the horse, stuff like that. And then the other change with Rider, obviously, is you get to summon the DK army of horsemen with you. So, aside from that, gameplay-wise, nothing really changes too much from the Rider, or sorry, not the Rider, from the Shattering Blades build in some of my older videos from last season, stuff like that. So if you're curious, go check those out. But basically, the rotation kind of follows as suit. So basically, you have three main objectives. One, keep Frost Fever up as much as possible. So Frost Fever comes from your Rime procs or your Howling Wind if you don't have a Rime proc. And then keep Remorseless Winter up as much as possible. Spend your Killing Machine procs. Same as last season, Killing Machine are just empowered obliterates. And then every 5 stacks of Razor Ice, you just want to make sure that you are Frost Striking. That is where a lot of the damage comes from in this build, so make sure we are Frost Striking every 5 stacks as much as possible. Okay, first things first, before we kind of get into this rotation, if you are noticing that these like sidebars I will have for Killing Machines aren't showing up, just go to your options, type in Spell, and turn on Spell Alert Opacity. For whatever reason, every time I reload, mine gets reset. I really like playing with it. It allows me to know when I have Rime procs and Killing Machine procs in a really easy way. For whatever reason, this has been resetting every time I reload, anytime I load into a dungeon raid instance on all of my characters. So, just something to keep note. But coming into this rotation, we are just going to kind of go through it pretty slowly, just so you guys can follow. You can track my abilities down here. So basically, imagine this is the raid, right? Single target. We're going to show up. We're going to drop our Ghoul. And then Slappy Hands will Pillar, Rime, or Howling Blast, and then kind of get into our window. Once we get the 5 Razor Ice stacks, we're going to pop that. Trying to make sure we are using these Killing Machine procs, and then Frost Striking every time we get to 5 Razor Ice stacks, and then trying to just kind of use all of our procs and use everything we have as we generate them. So Howling Blast procs, Killing Machine procs, and then just Death Striking. Frost Striking every time we get to these 5 stacks of Razor Ice. So obviously this is a slower version of kind of what your rotation would look like, but you get the idea. It's pretty simple. Lots of Frost Strike damage, lots of Obliterate damage, and honestly, like, I was in a normal raid and keeping up with people who are 660, 658, like around there. These buffs feel really good. I'm happy to be playing Frost again. I will be definitely using it again. The rotation stays very similar for AoE, by the way. Biggest difference is we're just going to drop our Death and Decay. Our Death and Decay allows us to cleave, so if we're, you know, hitting multiple targets, same thing though, just keep in mind you will have to kind of tab target to hit your Razor Ices. So if you have a prio mob, let's say this mob here is prio, you can tab target to it, give it a Frost Strike, and then if this is the boss, come back to it. If you have enough runic power, give it a Frost Strike. That's just going to increase your damage. But just try and make sure you get in your Death and Decay so that at least you are cleaving as much as you can, trying to, you know, take advantage of Frost Striking as much as possible, trying to get rid of these Razor Ice stacks, stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it for the frostdk return video, I guess you could call this. Here's another look at the talents. I'm really excited to play this, get it in raid. And then I'm still learning Unholy to try and give you guys the best information possible, but keep your eyes out for a video on that if you would like to learn it. And I will probably be trying this in M+ as well, because honestly, I'm a huge fan of Frost. I love the visuals. I just like how the class plays. I miss playing my DK. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, I am playing a Shadow Priest and a Disc Priest this season a lot, so keep an eye out for those videos. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.